Now on to WangWen from China. This year, he presented an extensive report on the development of BRICS. He was kind enough to invite me to speak at that event, and I think that report was discussed widely, and one of the ideas in this report was the vision that WangWen presented about developing the BRICS Plus format, including based on interaction between regional integration groups. Please, you may have the floor now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. We have a very great cooperation with Valdai Club. Yesterday, I have read this excellent Valdai Club report very, very carefully. So actually, I think the report of the Valdai Club is very, very important because it's a fairly high quality BRICS research report, which mentions that the BRICS Plus mechanism needs to follow the flexibility, independence, fairness, inclusiveness, etc. Because you mentioned and you pointed out. In principle, I agree very, very much. What I want to say is that under the new background, the competition between major powers is first, and the West vigilance, prevention, and attack on BRICS are intensifying. And the BRICS Plus mechanism currently is facing three new traps, including conflict, stagnation, and division, etc. First, the trap of conflict. Because now some scholars in the West believe that the BRICS mechanism is a revolutionary of the international order and an enemy of the West. These scholars believe that China and Russia are forming an alliance and are building an anti-Western camp. They hope to create a sense of conflict between the BRICS and imagine the external enemy, promote a new Cold War, and then try to unite the country and resolve their internal political divisions. Because we can memorize the history. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union became the largest external force for the United States to promote the internal unity. BRICS must learn the lesson, learn the historical lesson, and cannot fall into this trap again. Because as mentioned in the report, BRICS Plus reflects inclusiveness and hopes to better reform the existing international order and promote the fairness, security, and openness of the international system. This is very different from the making enemy of the West or challenge the West. From this point of view, the BRICS countries, especially Russia and China, needs to have a higher level of diplomacy, not only to struggle with the West, but also to maintain cooperation with the West. I call it smart diplomacy. Smarter diplomacy. That's the first point I want to share. Second point I want to share is that the stagnation trap. Because as we all know, the global economy suffered a major shock in 2022 and faced the risk of prolonged stagnation. The economy of Russia and China were also affected. BRICS mechanism in Chinese language, the BRICS means gold and brick. Because whether the BRICS mechanism can continue to develop depend on whether it can maintain a certain growth rate. If China, India, Russia, Brazil, or South Africa fall into the economic recession, or the economic aggregate is widened by the Western developed country, the BRICS Plus will lose its color, no longer gold, but just ordinary bricks. If that, the BRICS Plus mechanism will not maintain. So as I pointed out in the report, BRICS Plus needs to maintain the independence of the G-economics, but independence cannot become closed or isolationism, and it needs to achieve sustainable growth or middle to high speed growth in the process of the opening up. It is necessary to continue to promote globalization and oppose protectionism and populism. I call it a smart economy. Smart economy. That's the second point I want to share. Third point, the trap of division. Because some people in the West hope to obstruct the BRICS Plus mechanism and win over other countries in the BRICS Plus mechanism. Because we saw that some developing country that participated in the BRICS Plus Summit on June 24th. And they were also invited by the G7 to participate in the G7 Summit in the following week. And those middle powers, or those countries are then the G7 or BRICS, are like a beautiful woman. And they are hurried by many people, right? And as I pointed out in the report, I read it very carefully. BRICS Plus needs to emphasize flexibility, but flexibility also requires a more balanced and pragmatic mechanism, so that more countries participating in the BRICS Plus mechanism can really benefit from the mechanism. BRICS Plus is not the enemy of the G7, but there is a very serious competition with the G7, who can provide better public goods. Because we know which mechanism will bring more pragmatic benefits, which mechanism can be more competitive. So as the report pointed out, the inclusiveness of the mechanism now has become very, very important. I call this smart mechanism. So all in all, I don't want to waste more time. We all know the West is weakening, is declining, but the weakening will be a long process. Some Western thinkers are reflecting and hoping to find the driving force for recovery. And the BRICS now is rising, is on the rise. But the rise also requires a long process. We all know Chairman Mao, 80 years ago, Chairman Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao said, the protracted war. Because the protracted war requires us a competition of strategic endurance. So this requires, as I said, smart diplomacy, smart economy, and a smart mechanism. Because all in all, I very appreciate the report. I have confidence in BRICS Plus and hope to contribute to BRICS Plus as a think tank through practical actions. Thank you so much. I really appreciate and hope to cooperate with Valdai Club in research in any way. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, господин WangWen.
Thank you very much, Mr. WangWen. It was really a great honor. We are happy to get this opportunity to cooperate. Let me also mention how you focused inclusiveness of BRICS Plus format, that it should be open not only for the global south, but for interaction with the developed countries. It's an important research area that we will have to start exploring for those researchers who focus on BRICS.